Hello, everybody. And welcome to the Menagerie series. Recently, my beautiful and wonderful girlfriend told me that it's December, and that means it's time to put up the Christmas lights. The thing is, I don't think that she knows that there are no colored lights in Minecraft. All of the lights are white, which is really kind of strange when you think about it, because we have colored wool and colored carpeting, we have colored clay, and we have colored glass and colored glass panes in the newest versions of Minecraft, but we have no colored lights. There are a few mods that add colored lights. Oh, hello. You come to join the party? There you go. There are a few mods that add colored lights, but I don't have any of them. And in fact, the closest thing I have would be these colored lanterns. These are from the Metallurgy mod, but they don't actually give off colored light. And so because of that, there's no real distinction in the way that they look. As you can see, they just, even though the color of the block is, red or green, because the light given off, ooh, meteor strike. Because the light given off is still the white colored light, it doesn't have that effect that an actual colored light would have. So, kind of a shame, but that's the closest we could get to any type of colored light for Christmas. I put some out here just because I made a bunch. The recipe, I didn't realize how many the recipe made, and I made a whole bunch of them, and I have a bunch I didn't use. Anyway, since I couldn't make, official, really good Christmas lights, I decided to build a Christmas tree. And this is the result. Let's see. How's that? How's that for a view? Let's go ahead and sleep through the evening. The tree looks a lot better at the nighttime, which is why I wanted to show it to you then. But this tree took me a long time to make, and let's sleep through the night, and we'll go over and check out what went into this tree. I've been having some issues with, if you see my sword going transparent and back again, I've been having some issues. I'm not exactly sure what's well, I shouldn't say that I know it's the NEI, one of the NEI functions that's doing that, but I don't know why. So, still researching that. But there's my song playing again. Because there's a lot of redstone going on in here, this, I don't like spiders. There's a lot of lag and stuff that's happening here. But down in here is mostly the music, but ooh, I got a hole in the roof there. I don't have anything to fix it with. Yeah, let's start with this. This here is a randomizer, and I utilize this quite a bit. The way that this works is you have a dropper, which is facing upwards into a hopper. And the dropper has a number of different items in it. But what's key here is you have non-stackable items such as this sword, and then you have stackable items, which is all of the rest of this stuff. And that's important because when the dropper receives a redstone signal, it will randomly select one of these items and spit it up into the hopper. When it's in the hopper, depending on what it is, if it's a stackable item, and because there's only one, the signal it gives off will only go to this block here, which means it doesn't go any farther, and so nothing else happens. On the other hand, if it's a non-stackable item, the signal will go all the way out to here, which then powers this block and does the rest, which I'll explain in a minute. And so what happens is, if I have one non-stackable item, which is the sword, and then I have, 6 of these stackable items, which are all these other items, since the dropper is going to select one of these at random, I'm basically having a 1 out of 7 chance that it's going to be the sword. So that the signal that activates the music will only happen 1/7 of the time. Now, that's still a little too frequent, but I'll get into a reason why that is. Anyway, so once the signal gets to here, it activates this RS NOR latch, which will then trigger my line of music blocks. And when the song is over, it goes back and it resets the RS NOR latch. And the reason for that is this signal that's coming in happens frequently enough that if I didn't have this latch to block it, it would try to play the song multiple times. It would sound like a round almost, if you know what that is in music. But we didn't want that, and so this is what I came up with for that. And again, I did not invent any of this stuff. Any redstone stuff has probably been invented by somebody else long before I came along. So I'm not taking credit for anything. And yeah, just to make that clear. And it's probably not very efficient because I'm not very good with making redstone stuff, and I'm not good with making stuff efficient. I just make it, and that's about it. So anyway, it goes through this chain of repeaters and redstone and blocks, which will activate all of these note blocks in sequence, and then that plays the O Tannenbaum song that we get to hear every once in a while. And for some reason, there might be a delay. But if you are a musically inclined person, you may notice off the bat that the O Tannenbaum is not in key. And I did that intentionally. I think it still sounds okay, especially if you're not too terribly musically inclined. But Minecraft note blocks have a limited range as to the notes that they can make. And the O Tannenbaum song uses notes below that. So I shifted all of the notes up several notches on the scale so that they would all maintain a relative sound to each other, but it's not the perfect O Tannenbaum song. And the other thing you'll notice if you're musically inclined is that the tempo is a little bit off, and you may even notice that if you're not musically inclined, it doesn't quite sound as fast as it should, and that's again because Minecraft is limited to how fast I can play these notes. But all in all, I still think it turned out fairly well. So the thing driving everything is this very simple hopper clock, and I've since discovered that I could have made this simpler, but at the time, this was all that I knew how to make. There's, I believe, 4 items that bounce back and forth in these hoppers, and each time they bounce back and forth, they will operate the comparator, which operates an item that's in this hopper that goes back and forth, and you can see it lights up the torches alternatively. And of course, when it does so, it lights up this redstone, which runs this way. Now, this is part of the reason why I had a problem, because I wanted this to be fairly fast for the flickering of the Christmas tree lights. But because it was so fast, it was then too fast for the O Tannenbaum. And so that's why I had to add this RS NOR latch in order to keep the song from playing too frequently. And that's why it's like that. Okay, so real quick, we can jump up here. This is the inside of the tree. And I don't know where he came from, but he's enjoying the inside of my tree. And there's not much that I can show you in here, to be honest. The lights are there, and each one of these cobblestone bridges, if you will, carries a redstone signal out to the back of the tree, as does the signal from our clock will go out the back of the tree, like so. And the back of the tree is where it all gets ugly. Oh, goodness, look at that. And this is also why there are only lights on the front of the tree, because this became very cumbersome very quickly. So let me eat something real quick so that I don't starve. And what I'll do is let me jump all the way to the top. There we go. So let's start with the regular lights. For each one of the regular lights on the tree, there is again a randomizer same principle with the dropper and the hopper. But in these, I did it more frequent. So there's one non-stackable item and 2 stackable items. So this means about a third of the time, the non-stacking item will get chosen, which means that the light will flicker. If you remember down there with the O Tannenbaum, it was only 1/7 of the time because I didn't need it to operate as frequently, and also because I really didn't want the O Tannenbaum song to be playing all the time. I wanted it to be kind of like every once in a while it would go off. And in fact, it's still a little bit too frequent. I could probably add a couple more items into that dropper, but it's probably okay the way it is. And so once this hopper gets the sword in it, let's see if I can jump up there. Oh, and I don't know if I mentioned this, but whatever the dropper selects randomly and puts up into the hopper, and that's what the comparator senses, then that item just goes right back down into the dropper. So that's why it just keeps repeating over and over every time it gets a signal. So again, when it's the stackable item, the signal strength only goes to here. When it's a non-stackable item, it will get to here. And this little comparator chain is just a sort of a compact, slight delay that will turn the light off for just a few brief moments. And maybe if we wait long enough here, we can see that happen. There you go. And that's what causes a flickering effect on any one of the particular lights that I have on the tree. And by itself, it's not too good, but when you combine it with, I think I have 19 lights on the tree, it creates a nice little random effect of the blinking of the lights. And up here we have the star, which is again controlled by a randomizer. And I'm going to build myself a bridge. And this randomizer, I believe I set to be... Oh, I set it to be at 1/3 as well. I thought I set it to be a little bit less frequently than that, but I guess not. And same principle, when it does get the stackable item, it goes through here, and it will operate this this bank, if you will, of redstone lamps, which makes up the star at the top of the tree. This here is coal blocks, and they're only there for one pretty silly reason. Let's go off the front of the tree, shall we? Whee! Shook. There we go. And that is because when I didn't have that there, if you looked at the tree, you would see all of this cobblestone and stuff behind it. Now, in the daylight, this is not too terribly attractive, but if you remember from the beginning of the episode, in the nighttime, because it's dark back behind it, it does at least minimize the appearance of all of the cobblestone that's back there. And that, my friends, is the Christmas tree in a nutshell. I particularly like the blinking lights and the fact that it's randomized as to which ones blink and stuff. It gives it like a nice effect that it's not so doesn't have a predictable effect to it, which is kind of neat. And again with the tree and Tannenbaum, if you can hear it there in the background. I think when I edit this video, I will try to make that a little bit louder because it's tough to hear. Note blocks don't have a very far range of their sound. The tree itself is spruce wood and spruce leaves, which actually was a lot harder than I thought it would be. My tree farm is doing, what's it called? Well, anyway, it's doing the saplings there, but for whatever reason, the forestry trees, you cannot get the leaves with a set of shears. I don't know if you can get the leaves or how you would do it. So I actually had to go find I had to find existing spruce trees, and you can see that's what I was doing over here. Get my cursor back. Over here, these are Minecraft spruce trees and not the forestry spruce trees, because that was the only way I could get the leaves, and I obviously left that little farm there because I never got rid of it while I was working on stuff. But yeah, the tree is spruce leaves and spruce wood to make sure that the leaves don't despawn. And then of course you can see I went through and put up some random bits of colored wool in various spots. It's bare in some areas because I was very random in how I did it. I just was plunking them down all over the place, and that's why it maybe doesn't look like it's very symmetrical or even. But in my experience, natural Christmas trees or real Christmas trees in people's homes are very rarely perfectly symmetrical and in all their decorations. And that's it. There's my Christmas tree. Merry Christmas to everybody. Happy holidays to everybody. And thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.